Welcome back to Food 101 with Riley. Today I've got one of my favorite poolside recipes for peach mead. Why don't you mead me in the kitchen and we'll get started. Mead is an alcoholic beverage made from honey. The point of this recipe, besides making a great poolside cocktail, is to learn all about alcoholic fermentation. First, take 2 ripe peaches and cut them into chunks. Go ahead and set these aside for later. Measure out 1/2 cup of honey. The flavor of your mead will be heavily dependent on the type of honey you choose. I recommend using wildflower or maybe an orange blossom. Combine the peaches and honey in a pot and cook over medium heat until the peaches are soft. The peaches and honey together smell so good, but you have to resist eating them. Make sure to stir frequently to prevent any burning. Next, mash the peaches to release all the juice and then remove them from the heat. Measure out 2.5 cups of unchlorinated water and pour it into a sanitized mason jar. Then go ahead and add in your peach mixture. Check the temperature to make sure it isn't above 100 degrees. We do not want to boil our yeast alive. Now add in 1/2 teaspoon of red wine or champagne yeast. These have been specifically bred for high alcohol fermentations and are going to give you the best results. Now set up for fermentation. Store the brewing mead with its jar of sanitizer in a warm, dark place such as a cupboard or a closet. Carbon dioxide will travel through the tube to the jar of water and form bubbles. Once you stop seeing these bubbles, the mead is finished. This should be around 5 to 7 days. If you're looking at this contraption and feel really confused, check out my video on how to build a micro fermenter and then come back. Now, let's go over what's actually happening in this jar. If you've ever taken a high school biology class, you've probably seen this equation for glycolysis. Not to give you PTSD, but we have to understand a few things about it before we're ready to talk about fermentation. Focus here on these 2 products, pyruvate and NADH. If there's oxygen present, they'll move on to make more energy. But if there's no oxygen, they're forced to move into fermentation. Yeast does fermentation because it wants to regenerate NAD+. However, as byproducts, it creates ethanol and CO2, which is the stuff that we're after. But Riley, I haven't taken a biology class in 10 years and that was really confusing. Here's a simple version. Hungry yeast. Eat sugar. What goes in has to come out. Alcohol. If you learned anything today, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you want to see more great content, subscribe.